hiding here with you in the same room, and you cannot watch your porn, and you cannot be masturbating. That's why you're worrying about more. So Gino's been denying being addicted to porn for a very long time now, okay? And in this scene here, as you saw in the most recent episode of The Last Resort, Jasmine is literally saying to him that you are somebody that is in a bad mood unless you're unable to enjoy your, your fun with your videos. And because you've had to stay in the same room as me and you've been unable to actually go to your devices to have fun by yourself, it puts you in a bad mood. Now, of course, Gino denies it. He says, no, I am not addicted to it whatsoever. Which brings me to this point.
Gino told me that I think I have a stash. I thought, what kind of stash, man? I have a stash of pills. I thought you're sick. So me, no. I thought, what you need the pills? So me, Viagra.
Let's just let this sink in. Gino has told, okay, Florian that he has got a stack of pills. And the pills themselves in particular are Viagra. But why does he need a stack of pills, a stack of Viagra, if he is inactive with his wife sexually? Why? Why would he need them?
So me, I take Viagra, I watch porn, it's a pleasure myself. I thought, what the?
So let's just let that sink in. Let's just let this sink in. This man has no leg to stand on. No leg to stand on in any kind of way. The matter of fact is, Gino has obviously been lying to the public in terms of the videos, because it is very clear that Jasmine's frustrations or complaints have obviously now been proven to be nothing but legit. I mean, am I surprised? Absolutely not that this is true. Despite me believing this information to be true, Gino, on the other hand, decided to reply to a post, okay, made by 90 Alexa. And as you can see here, and the post is regarding the same video that I showed you folks of Florian exposing Gino for his BS, for his lies. And as you can see here, one of the first things that Gino had to say here is, I was actually joking around about stack of blue pills when I told Florian the story, laughing. He took me seriously. I don't know. I'm confused. I have tried this a few times, but that's about it. I'm certainly not addicted to porn. Watching, maybe a couple times in a week. I don't need porn when I had intimacy with my past girlfriend. Go figure. You know what's so interesting about this, right? This man is funny. He says I actually was joking around about stack of blue pills when I told Florian the story. Then he says that I have tried this a few times. So you're telling me you have literally bought blue pills for the purposes of trying to pleasure yourself with your own hands? I mean, come on, Gino. If that doesn't sound concerning to you, then what the F is wrong with you? Okay? Then obviously even here where he says, I'm certainly not addicted to porn, watching maybe a couple times a week. The fact that you watch it a couple of times a week to get your blue pills out a couple of times a week, and you're telling me you don't have it? Come on now. Come on, Gino. You know, playing with yourself a couple of times a week when you are not in prison, you are not behind bars, you have a world full of women around you, or women that you can potentially go to, and most important, you got a wife in front of you. Playing yourself a couple of weeks when you've got a whole wife in her 30s, ready to open her legs for you, bend over, and you're telling me that you've got the capacity, the mental capacity to buy pills to play with yourself a couple times a week. This is a madness. If he said, oh, I've got it to play with myself at that time of the month, blah, blah, maybe we can allow that to a certain degree, maybe. But at the end of the day, he has literally shot himself in the foot with this statement in particular. And then also, why are you referencing to your girlfriends in the past? If anything, you're basically saying that you was able to be intimate with them, but you're unable to be intimate with Jasmine. That's not a good thing. You're basically saying Jasmine isn't good enough, or you're saying there's something going on. But there's another one where he says, Jasmine accuses me of porn addiction, which is completely untrue. 100% she accuses me of this to cover up the real reason I can't be intimate with her, because she starts fights with me daily, including screaming at me constantly and treating me like shit. Who wants to be intimate with somebody that treats you horribly every day? Definitely not me. Okay, cool. So who decides to marry someone who treats them horribly every day? You. Who decides to pay $3 I think it was $3,000 for somebody to live in an apartment complex in the same building has her ex or alleged ex or whatever, you. So to be fair, whilst he's talking about definitely not me, well, yeah, definitely you. But you've been doing a whole ruckus. So don't act like you're innocent. But here's the thing. Let's go back over this again. All right? Because here, the way he says, because she's come up the real reason. The real reason I can't be intimate with is because she starts fighting me daily, including screaming at me constantly. Well, here's the thing. We know that Gino's past relationships have not worked out. We know he's been married before and it didn't work out. So I'm curious, what did these women have to do in the past that you obviously were able to be intimate with? What were they able to do that made them or you leave them in the end then? Because the matter of the fact is, the things you're telling us right here are good enough for not only for you to allegedly not be intimate with Jasmine, but also good enough for you to basically not marry her and to not be with her, period. And to not even want to fight for this relationship. So I want to know what makes Jasmine so different for you to keep in this relationship compared to how your relationship was with the women that you was actually able to be intimate with. You see what I'm saying? The way this guy is just talking absolute garbage, not realizing that he's not really saying anything intelligent. He's just saying things that really opens up a whole can of worms of other questions that backs him up in a corner. You know when somebody thinks they're being smart, but really in truth, they're being dumb as hell. Let's just let that sink in. Being dumb as hell. Talking about constantly screaming at me and constantly and treating me like shit. And the thing is, why is he acting like as if he's a saint in this relationship? He acts as if like he's been the perfect husband. You know, as if he has treated Jasmine with all the respect possible. You know? This guy is a clown. An absolute clown. And the maddest thing about it is, all he's got to do is literally sleep with Jasmine, and then maybe, just maybe, that could be the cure to a constant screaming. Well, at least that. I don't know about the treating like poops part, but the screaming and all that kind of stuff. Because you got to think about it, right? Some people, when they are sexually frustrated, they act out. They shout, they scream, they some may go completely quiet, some become overly vocal, some don't become vocal at all. So maybe Jasmine is the way she is because you're not pressuring her in one of the areas that matters the most. But let's not forget, you can do all the nicest things possible to your partner to please them. But if you're not doing the things that matters to them the most, that attitude that they have, or whatever behavior that they are displaying that is not a good thing, they will continue to display it regardless, because you are not touching the areas that matter the most. Let's think about this now. Think about this now. What a clown. What an absolute clown. But here's the thing though. Jasmine recently came out with a post. Nothing wrong with a non-monogamous marriage. Let people be their authentic selves. Now bear this in mind, Jasmine did upload this one yesterday before the episode had aired. Now let's just remind ourselves, last week's episode, even this episode here itself in particular, Jasmine made it abundantly clear that she wanted to have an open relationship. So she wanted to have an open relationship for the purposes of the fact that she can have the needs that Gino does not want to satisfy, be satisfied by another man. Okay? Now, of course, this is not something that would actually work in their relationship. This is not something that actually would be healthy for their relationship. Why? Because their communication is already poor anyway. So for them to even have a relationship where they communicate that Jasmine's out there sleeping with XYZ, yeah, let's just say that definitely wouldn't go right. Now, the question is this though. Jasmine, given this post, obviously she made this post as a way to justify and clarify this scene in particular, where she does say that she does want to have an open relationship. I don't believe this is necessarily to say that yes, they are now in an open relationship, but at the same time though, I don't necessarily believe that these two are even in a relationship in general, to be honest with you. I generally feel like these two just choose to come back on the show and time again and play the game that they are still actually in a relationship, when clearly, if you ask me, they probably broke up a long time ago and they just decided to stay on TV for the business. But you never know though. But to be fair though, I am anticipating that they break up at the end of this season because, you know, as I said before, Gino was seen filming with a blonde woman for another season, and that season we can only assume would be for the single life. But hey, that's just my guess and assumption at this moment in time. But either way though, why would your woman want to be non-monogamous? It's simple, very simple. because you're too busy wasting your pills on your right hand or left hand or whatever the hell you use to pleasure yourself, rather than actually using those pills to actually pleasure your woman. So no wonder that she wants to have this, open relationship. To be fair, it kind of puts Gino in a position where he has no say. Now, of course, Gino does say in an episode that if that happens, then we will be over. So maybe that is the reason why they do potentially end up breaking up, because Jasmine decides that she wants to go elsewhere, which respectfully and rightly so she should. But at the same time, though, we know that these two, when it comes to the relationship, neither one of them has ever been a saint. Both of them have just been as bad as each other. But to be fair, I would argue that now Gino's probably more worse than what Jasmine ever was, because this guy has a track record of showing pictures of Jasmine to an ex. He's now got this behavior where he feels like it's okay to basically not be intimate with your partner and, basically jack off to other women, which is just so wrong. And to be fair, this is one of the biggest issues with society these days, that there are men out here who rather just, flip out, open up their phone, open up whatever device they have, and pleasure themselves that way, rather than actually, go and find a real person. And the maddest thing about it is that Gino actually has a real person. It's a calamity. But either way, though, let me know your thoughts on the maddest stuff in particular. And as far as we're concerned, Florian has now exposed you. So, Gino, if you see this video, what is your response to this? Let me know your thoughts down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.